Yo, what's up, gamer gators? What's good, guys? So I was on Twitter, and I'm telling people, just letting people know how to do things, telling people what's up, and I'm going around, dropping information bombs everywhere. And this one, these liberals on Twitter, they have the blue check mark because they have 1,000 followers, and they worked with, Vice. They worked with the Daily Independent for one day, so they get a blue check mark. That's how Twitter works. So one of these people, they said something irrational, and then I started arguing with them. I'm like, come on, you got to start thinking. Like, stay your hand out of your ass, start thinking, start moving, start doing good things, like the W Army. And so immediately, I got this ridiculous argument with her. It was hilarious. Basically, so all these women are coming out with their sexual assault stories on Twitter. That's what people do on Twitter. And she was saying how, like, reading all these got her really paranoid and kind of got her all, like, anxiety, like, started flaring up, and, everything's bad in the world. And, I guess it's normal physiological reaction, like human biology, if you're a normal person. Jesus fucking Christ, guys, it's high up here, and I'm not gonna joke. I'm actually terrified of heights. I have acrophobia. I'm not even joking. And, oh, shit. I'm getting over it. It's getting better, but I feel like a very difficult time in high places. But anyway, so she's panicking about all this. This is normal. This is a normal physiological reaction about what happens when you read all these stories, because apparently sexual assault is like the worst thing in the world. It's completely rampant. It's everywhere. It's way worse than we thought, right? Well, so it's normal to get paranoid. But the problem is, this is not real, it's technology. So our evolution doesn't keep up with technology, right? So the way to counteract this is you gotta think through it. You gotta think through it to counteract it. It's the only way, because unfortunately, this is what happened here. Your anxiety flares up, and it flares up, there's no response. It's the same thing with stress, right? You get a stress reaction. Like in nature, it's great, but in real life, there's no stress reaction. Like, someone says a mean thing to you online, your anxiety flares up, but why would it flare up, right? So, and I think if you deal with this shit a lot, like, you get better with it, but most people, they don't think, and they don't deal with it often enough, like me, to get numb to it. I'm pretty numb to these stress reactions. So on the internet, so I say something, I basically told her this, I'm like, hey, you know what, you gotta power through this, stop being a victim, power through this, be a winner. That's what I basically said. Be a winner. Not that hard, being a winner is a great thing. And then I think he responded, log off Twitter, you suck, cock. And, imagine being yourself. Great, I imagined myself. It was great. I didn't log off Twitter. I'm not sure what that would have accomplished other than me not being on Twitter for a second. But there's no real argument from her, and the problem is she's still under anxiety. She still has this anxiety trigger. Now I think that anxiety trigger is gonna go away, and honestly I think it helped out a lot. But time and time again, it's gonna happen again and again and again. I'm talking about this meme wave. It's the same thing. We're in a meme wave right now. I actually predicted it. We're in a meme wave. I don't know if you guys have seen the Szechuan sauce, Pickle Rick, all these good memes lately. Yeah, this is not random. I predicted all this stuff. It's a response. But guys, that's not even the point. That's not even the point. I predicted this, and we never got a mega meme. I was predicting a mega meme. We never really got a mega meme. Like, I guess you could call the Rick and Morty fan base like that, but like that's too forced. So I was wrong in that we never got a mega meme, but we got a bunch of small memes, and maybe we still will get the big one, the big one. But it is as it is. We just got a bunch of little ones, and maybe we never got a big one because not everybody moved on from this Las Vegas shooting thing, so maybe that's why we never got a big one. But a lot of people have moved on, a lot of people have forgotten, so it seems like we just got a bunch of pocket memes, meme culture, like the hamburger helper hand, the bone structure of him, and then of course all the Rick and Morty jokes, and there's a bunch. Go on Twitter, there's a bunch of them. So this video is not actually about any of that. So I'm asking, why? Okay, I noticed this today. I've always known this, but it never occurred to me. I noticed this today. Every time a Link to the Past player who's like average in Link to the Past, but playing for years, average in the game, ranked anywhere from like 8 to like 30. Every time they switch over to a different game, they get the record. Every single time, and it's like, it keeps happening. And none of these Link to the Past players are particularly good at Link to the Past. Like most of these guys are like, you know, they're okay players, they're good speedrunners. I mean, they play the game, they speedrun a lot, they're part of the culture. Like the great thing about joining a clique, the actual one benefit is to it is it's fake motivation, because you pretend to be a part of the clique, you pretend to care about more than you do. So the results are actually sometimes they're better than if there's no clique at all. Now, I don't think that's actually true, because you actually limit yourself a lot too. So I'm not sure how true that is, but yeah, a lot of these days, I mean, for Albrecht, for example, this guy Albrecht, he's a part of Link to the Past clique. So he played Link to the Past for I think a year or 2 years maybe. He played a lot, he was very involved. He got a 126.59, maybe it's a 26.58, and then he stopped playing Link to the Past one day and he started playing, I think, Final Fantasy 13, and he started playing SMRPG, and he actually got the record at SMRPG recently. But I mean, that's the whole point. Like, he got the record at SMRPG, and that's, you know, it's not like a super competitive game. Like, I don't think anyone's getting the record in like Super Metroid anytime soon, but it's a pretty competitive game. I mean, there's a lot of top players that play that game. Like, there is a lot of culture and like a lot of research done into it. But yeah, he got that game like pretty convincingly. I mean, pretty easily. Like, it wasn't unbelievable. It wasn't like the most shocking thing in the world. And yeah, he kind of took that one. So. And it's, you know, not just him. I was thinking about like this Alttp guy. So Alttp 174, he was the original like clique gang leader that was trying to like fuck with me, and he completely failed, and the guy's a complete failure. He was the original guy like that, and he quit Link to the Past pretty early. Yeah, again, he was pretty involved in Link to the Past. Like he actually knows a lot about the game on a fundamental scale. He's actually pretty decent in Link to the Past, because he played a lot. He put a lot of effort and time to it. He never had a relevant time. I think he had a 1:26.17. I mean, ranked like 25 on the leaderboards. Like, this is not a relevant time, but. He got the record in Final Fantasy VII like 3 months playing Final Fantasy VII. Like 2 years he plays Link to the Past, never does anything with it. Plays Final Fantasy VII 3 months, he gets the record. I mean, think about this stuff, guys. This is not rocket science. It's not crazy. It's not. I mean, who's even surprised? Who's even surprised? Because Link to the Past runners keep getting either really good times or just shred the record and never get other games. And it's like, I was thinking about Waffle 42. He's another Link to the Past guy. I mean, this guy took Link to the Past very seriously. He had a top 10 time at one point. He's one of the up and coming players. He's very serious about it. He's played for years. He stopped playing it one day, you know. Starts playing DKC2. I don't even think he took DKC2 particularly seriously. I mean, maybe he did, but I don't think so. He has a second place time in that game. I mean, he's the only other guy with a 39, which is actually a pretty good time, because that was the record not that long ago. So it's like, okay, he never got the record, but I mean, DKC2 is a pretty competitive game, and he got a pretty damn good time in it. And he wasn't. I think he's like rank 11 in the Link to the Past leaderboards. I mean, he's not like, it's not bad, but it's, you know, it's just another random. He's like high 125. It's not particularly good. It's not like, and this keeps happening. This is the thing you keep seeing. Joe D'Amelia is another example, and he actually came from Castlevania 4, but again, you know, he played Link to the Past for a while, goes back to Castlevania 4, immediately gets a really good record of the game. Like, it keeps happening. Like, people playing Link to the Past, they switch over to other games and they just dominate the game. They just completely dominate the game and get incredible times. It keeps happening, and it's like. I don't know, is this coincidence? Because I don't think it's coincidence, guys. I don't think this is a coincidence. The thing is, Link to the Past players are highly dedicated. We're highly dedicated speedrunners, and very rarely do we actually switch over to other games. So just straight up, it doesn't happen very often. So you don't hear about this often, but I mean, you think about it, if you look at the numbers, you think about it, you really add it up. These Link to the Past guys, they keep switching to other games, they keep completely dominating these other games. And it's like, I mean, does Link to the Past just breed god gamers? Does Link to the Past just breed the best speedrunners of the whole speedrunning scene? And actually, I completely think so. I completely think so, and I'll tell you why. It's because Link to the Past has more research done into it, and actually, there's not that much infrastructure, because over the past 3 years, I'd say Link to the Past is like uniquely the only speed game that's actually gotten smaller, that's actually dying, which is like really silly and stupid, but most of that is just due to the clique. Thanks the clique. But it still has a lot of research done in the game. There's still an incredible amount of infrastructure, and if you look at the top end players in Link to the Past, we're way better than pretty much any other speed game. So yeah, it's not surprising that Link to the Past speedrunners are just completely dominating every games, because the thing is, these guys aren't even good at Link to the Past. Like, none of these guys are even particularly good at Link to the Past. They barely took it seriously at all. They barely even got good times. I mean, none of these dudes even had top 5 times at any point, which isn't even that good. Yeah, they're completely dominating other games, and it's because people, when you play Link to the Past, you take it seriously. Everybody who plays Link to the Past takes it very seriously. And personally, I don't think they take it that seriously in the grand scheme of things. But for speedrunning, hell yeah, they take it very seriously. And as a result, and this is what I was talking about last time, as a result, they actually get very good times proportionally. And it's, you know, I never really understood this before, but it's actually a real thing where how seriously you take a game, you'll get better at it proportionally. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, dude, it is cool. It's cool and it's real and it's really great too, because this is why they're completely dominating. So the culture, the intense culture in Link to the Past produces alpha gamers. It completely produces alpha gamers, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And the fact of the matter is, if I went to any other speed game, I would completely dominate it. I'd have the record in it by a significant margin, no competition, and quickly. I do it faster than anyone else. But I wouldn't even be surprised. And that's just the standard I hold myself to. And that's you know, that would be if I put all my time into it. What if I just put half of my time into it or a quarter of my time into it? Well, I'd probably still get a good time, you know, easily, because it's just like, I'm just, my standard of quality for something is way higher than most people. And it's this culture, it's taking it seriously, and it's like, now that I'm taking Link to the Past about 60% more seriously than I used to. So I would say from day one, and I would say this, most Link to the Past players are completely garbage in the game. I'd say absolutely no one takes the game very seriously, understands it very well. I'd say there's like 3 to 5 players in lifetime of the game that actually made a real effort to learn it. You hear about all these names, you hear about all these people, they have all these like fake, you know, accomplishments. It's all bullshit. There's like 3 to 5 players. That's all you have. So outside of the 3 to 5 players, and the thing is, everyone else is terrible at it. Now, I was one of those 3 to 5 players, but the reason is because I took it more seriously than everyone else. For example, I learned Ganon fight when this is in 2014. I had a 133. I learned it was 2013. I had a 133 and I learned the Ganon fight. I never relearned the Ganon fight because I learned it so well, and I got a gold split the day I learned it, and then the day after, I think it was my first run and my third run that I did the Temper Sword Ganon fight. I got those gold splits. I almost never beat them. I think I had I got a 217 Ganon. That was my very first Ganon. And then I think the next one was like a 214. So 217, if you retime the sword up, it's a 154, which isn't that good. That's my very first Temper Sword Ganon though, which is actually pretty decent. The 214, if you retime that, I think it's a 148. So a 140, I don't think 148 is particularly good, but if you look at, there's some players who have like a 125, low 125, and their Ganon gold is like a 145. Mine is a 148, one had a 133. You know, and this is like second Ganon. I wasn't spamming fights. This is like literally my third Ganon. It's because I made more of an effort to learn the fight. I took it a lot more seriously. And this scales everywhere, and it's really interesting because I was taking the game way more seriously. Like, let's say everybody's taking the game about 1% seriousness. Most people who are speedrunning take it about 0.01% seriousness. It's, you know, it's not even recognizable. Like, they're just complete jokes. Whatever, you know, it's a hobby. People want to take speedrunning less seriously. Can you believe that shit? It's absurd. You want to take it less seriously, you're barely even taking it seriously. It's barely even on the map, and you want to take it less seriously, it's absurd. I want to take it more seriously, right? So, but I would say most Link to the Past speedrunners are taking the game about 1% seriously. Most speedrunners 0.01% seriously. It's like a joke. I was thinking about 15% seriously. I mean, 15% is a complete joke. It's a waste of time. It's a joke. No one's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was dominating everybody else because nobody's taking it seriously. Now I'm taking Link to the Past about 85% seriously. I went up from 15 to about 85 overnight. I mean, this is overnight. Very easily too. And you know, I just said, oh, I need to take the game more seriously. So I completely leveled up overnight, and now I'm taking it 85% seriously. And I would say I'm about 35% successful at taking it 85% seriously. So it really am about like 45%. But that's fine because it's scaling up. And it's scaling up. It's getting better. It's definitely improving. And you know, my goal is not 85. My goal is 100% seriously. You know, my goal is maximum seriousness of taking Link to the Past. It's not. We're not stopping at 85. Why would I stop at 85? I just randomly improved 85 overnight. Like, it was no effort. But you know, like, why don't people take games more seriously? And you know, it's not that hard. How long did it take me to originally learn this Ganon fight when I had a 133 back in 2013? I fundamentally learned it so well that I never needed to relearn it, and I still have a better Ganon fight than every other player. And back then, when I learned Ganon, I had a better Ganon fight than still players nowadays. I would say 80% of players nowadays, I had a better Ganon fight when I learned it when I had a 133. It's absurd. I'm not a prodigy of the game. I never was. I was never particularly good at it. I just took it a little bit more seriously. I just made a real effort to learn it. It only took an hour. It took literally an hour to do that, and no one else was doing it. Like, what the hell is wrong with these people? The resources are still there. This is 2013. I mean, these resources still exist. They're still there. They didn't go anywhere. So, You know, and it's like, this is how you want to get good at the game. You just do that. It's not that hard. Now, I needed to scale that up, and I didn't know how to scale that up like a week ago, but I do now. I really do now, and this is what I'm learning. It's like, it's not just outside of the game, which honestly, outside of the game, I'm a joke. I need to get better at that. Inside the game too. It's really inside the game, and not suicide. All these things I was talking about in the last vlog. You know, not celebrating early, not practicing in the middle of the run, not you know, doing strats you're not comfortable with. You know, tilting for no reason, trying to get force RNG that doesn't work, trying to get through 0 blue balls every run when that's like obviously statistically impossible. You know, all these just like bogus. You know, quitting early, not even get into Aghanim. If you're plus 15, that's a bad run, but if you get 0 blue balls, which is a 1 in 16 chance, it completely saves the run. I mean, might as well just go to the Aghanim, right? No one's doing that, and it's because they don't take the game very seriously, and it's like, of course they have bad times. Of course they're choking, of course they're not doing well, like duh. Another one of my arguments, and this is pretty obvious, but like nobody takes it seriously, you know? If you want to stop choking, if you want to improve at a game, it's not going to be overnight. It's impossible to be overnight. That's stupid. You wouldn't improve. If it was overnight, you wouldn't improve at the game. No, it would take months. It would take at minimum 2 months, right? To fix these problems, right? And I would even go to the 9 month range, right? 2 to 9 months to long-term solution to these problems. So if you are trying to force a solution every single run, it's just pointless. Like, what you're wasting your time because it's not possible to do that, right? So that's another thing. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're taking the game very seriously, what would you do if you're trying to fix your problems, right? You would adjust for these problems, adjust that you can't immediately fix them, and then create a long-term plan and then try to execute on that long-term plan, right? So people aren't doing that because they don't trust themselves, and so if they create a long-term plan and then they try to execute on that long-term plan, and then they're wrong, what's going to happen is they're going to waste 6 to 9 months and they'll get nowhere, right? So that's why most people aren't doing this. But this is fallacious, and this is my core argument here, my primary argument, that people are wasting their time, they're not taking anything seriously enough, is because what's the alternative that they're doing is they're forcing themselves to try to drastically improve overnight or over one run, you know, mental, like, oh, I'm going to turn into a god, like right now. I'm just going to get rid of all my bad emotions and turn into a god. You know, people are always trying to do this. It's bogus, right? Even if you successfully did that, you're not a better player. You can't recreate it. It's not permanent. And then, you know, you're not gonna successfully do that. The reality. And then the thing is, and actually, I've done it a few times, and this is why I know this. It's because I've done it a few times. I've done it enough times. It didn't do anything for me in the long run. And then I created long-term strategies, and they did work, right? So this is why I'll know all this. So, but most people are wasting their time. They don't know this, and they're not honest with themselves enough. I am, fortunately, for you guys, I'm fortunately honest enough, and I can just tell you right now, you don't have to waste your life wasting time, right? It's like if you tried to learn calculus on your own, congratulations, but you could just learn it in a month at school. I mean, why would you waste your whole life trying to learn calculus? It's pointless. That's what I'm doing for you guys right now. I'm just giving you the tools to become a better gamer right now, so you don't have to, so that you can actually create better gameplay, and then, you know, people in the future can create better, and we can get better at gameplay. Everybody can get better at gameplay, right? So if the original mathematical gods, you know, we're looking like Euclides or whatever, if he did not tell people, hey, you know, there's these triangles and this is how they work and here's what geometry is, nobody would, you know, he would have been, you know, revered. Everybody would have loved him. The future generations would not have learned math. Right? I would not exist today. So, you know, it's like, of course he's telling people, well, of course I'm telling you guys, this is why I'm telling you guys this stuff so you can get like really good at gaming. It's not hard. I did this, you know, it only took me 10 months from the initial theory, which I structured it all out because I didn't really have theories for that. So I structured it all out after 10 months. That's not that long. That's a joke. I guess anybody can do that. Like a school term. Like when you're at school, you know, how many years of school did you go through? You didn't learn anything. You didn't remember anything. It's a waste of your time. Well, do one more year, except it's going to completely change your life. This is what gameplay theory is. So, but the point is you got to take it more seriously. And so it's like, so I got to take gameplay way more seriously. I mean, way more seriously than I am. Like, this is powerful. It's completely mind-blowing, completely powerful. It's true. It's all working. And the thing is, it's like these Link to Past players that switch over to other games, yeah, they become complete gods in these other games. I mean, the fact of the matter is, they're not actually godlike in other games. What happens is, there's just no culture. There's no other top players. There's no competitive relevancy, right? So it just looks like they're god gamers because, I mean, like, nobody can come over from another game and try to get a very Link to Past. Like, try it. I will ask people to try that. It's impossible. You'll fail. Everybody will fail. You take the top runners from other top games, you know? they'll fail. They'll completely fail. And the problem is, it's the game. Link Pass is too optimized. It has one of the best competitive cultures of speed gaming. I do think that if you look at a few specific top games and you take the top runners and you give them all the resources, like I had, you give them all the resources, you give them all the time, you know, whatever I did to get good Link Pass, you do that for them, you know, a several year period. Yeah, I think they'd get very good at it. In fact, actually, I think they could compete with the record, right? Realistically, that's possible. But and also, even it doesn't matter if they beat me, because the thing is, I actually don't even think they will, because Zelna's actually way better speedrunner than any of these guys, any of them. A lot of my success is directly a result of him, you know, competing with him. And this is why I got so good too, is because I had to compete with him. I had to compete with him, right? So if he didn't exist, of course I wouldn't have gotten so good. It's the same thing. These other games don't have Zelnas. Nobody's as clutch as Zelna. Nobody's as consistent as Zelna. Nobody takes the game as seriously as Zelna. Nobody is as well, clutch and consistent, maximized to an infinity degree, you know, put across that every single skill, you know, area, right? Nobody's as good mechanically as him. Nobody's as smart. Nobody's as smart in practice. Nobody's as smart in execution. Nobody's as smart in, you know, planning. How many runs do you do a day? When do you do runs? How do you execute the runs? Nobody. Everybody completely fails the comparison. Every speedrunner, I've never seen a speedrunner like that. I've never seen a speedrunner do so many things at such a high level, especially with the limited knowledge that he has in Link to Past. Well, and of course, because he's way better than all of them, right? And so yeah, I think if other players came over from other games, no, they would completely fail. I mean, you know, look at the top runners. You guys don't hear about Link to Past because Link to Past we're kind of isolated, right? We're kind of isolated, and people like to pretend they're as good as Zelna. You know, I mean, remember when Void and Zelna were playing DKC3, and Void had like 200 viewers and Zelna had like 30, and Zelna got a 4730 after like about a week and a half, and Void still has like a 4750 after like several months, and he still can't beat Zelna's times, and his sum of best is way better, and he's way better at the game, and he still can't come near Zelna's times, even though he plays DKC2 at the highest level, even though he's way better at the game in movement wise. He's played it longer. He understands Donkey Kong mechanics better. He still can't come near Zelna's time in 3, 4 times, 5 times as much. If you actually look at the number of the value, he's played it, you know, 6 times as much. He still can't come near Zelna's times. Why? Why not? It's because he's nowhere near competency. In terms of competency, he's nowhere near Zelna. This is a reality. This is a reality of the past. And we keep producing these gamers in other communities that completely dominate the game, and they're not relevant in Link to Past. These guys are never relevant in Link to Past, even though they're dominating other game communities. It's not a shocker. So a lot of this was inspired by Ethan, and Ethan, he's a little funny guy. He was saying you don't have any other accomplishments besides Link to Past, right? You're not good in any other games. I'm good in a lot of games. He said, I'm good in a lot of games. You're not good in any other games, right? Therefore, I'm better than you. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I said, you're dumb, you know. I just told me he's an idiot. Because it's like, if you want to make up arguments, I'll make up arguments with you. But then I started thinking about, like, wait a minute. You know, like, if you took any random Link to Past player and you had them play DKC1, they would dominate your times very quickly. And it's like, interesting. I don't even need to get good at other games, because people who completely fail to beat me in any aspect. Most Link to Past, most good Link to Past players, my PB ties their sum of best, or it beats their sum of best. So, by the way, yeah, most of these guys, you know, these guys are all bad at Link to Past. They will completely dominate DKC1. And it's like thinking about, okay, and actually it's funny too, because I'm way better than Ethan is at a variety of games. You know, I have at least 10 games. I'm far better than he is at any game, right? And it's, well, of course I am, because the culture. It's the culture and the structure, and I take gaming more seriously. I take Link to Past more seriously. I take speedrunning more seriously. What does he do for speedrunning? He drinks, he goes home, he drinks, he resets 100 times in a row, and then he says, RNG sucks, I hate RNG, and I give up. You know, that's what he said. And like, of course you don't have bad times. If really have bad times. Of course you can't do anything. You know, of course you're joking. You know, meanwhile I'm practicing, thinking about the game, creating new ideas, creating gameplay strategies, constantly creating, constantly winning, constantly practicing. You know, like I'll do 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in a row, all the 124s. You know, why are these 124s? When Zelna got 100 124s in a row or whatever, people were like, oh, maybe I guess 124 is easier than we thought, you know? Well, no, these guys are just complete idiots. He's just good at the game, right? You guys are idiots, he's good at the game. It's actually as hard as you think. You're just dumb. And then guess what? They all got 124s. Well, it wasn't because they were so good at the game, right? No, they got 124s because that's how the meta moves, right? Meta moves forward. You play the game for 4 years. Meta gets better. It gets easier to break through these times, right? This is a fact of reality. You see it in any game, any community. Yeah, so I mean, it's interesting. It's pretty interesting. And that's what can I get better Link to Past? What do you think? What do you guys think I can do to get better Link to Past? To me, it's obvious. Create culture in Link to Past. Like, that's obviously, of course. Most people will never do that because they're afraid and they have their one measly accomplishment. And they're like, well, wait a minute. If somebody gets better than me, I'll lose my measly accomplishment. Therefore, I'll never create guides. I'll never create culture because I lose my, completely trivial, irrelevant accomplishment. So they'll never do it, right? And then they can always pretend they're good at the games. They're good at gameplay. It's like, you guys are not good at gameplay, I think the reason I'm so good at gameplay is I acknowledged that I'm not good at gameplay years ago. I completely acknowledged I'm not good at gameplay. And then I started getting really good at gameplay. And I didn't realize how good any of my times are in the speedrun. Only until months after I did it, 1:23:32 in Link to Past. This is disgusting. This is a completely disgusting time. It wasn't even that good a run, and it's completely disgusting time. And the fact that I pointed out amazing times with. But yeah, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'm gonna create a lot of culture. I'm creating a lot of culture. I'm creating a lot of good speed gameplay, a lot of good speedrunning accomplishments, and it's only gonna get better. And the thing is, I want everybody to get really good gameplay, really good at speedrunning. I want speedrunners to actually be good at gaming. Here's the thing about speedrunners: pretty much all speedrunners are garbage at gameplay. There's almost no good speedrunners that have good gameplay. It's very rare. So I want speedrunners to actually be acknowledged for the gameplay instead of acknowledged for their, lack of gameplay. And this is a possible thing. This is a doable thing. That's why I created these cultures. That's why I'm creating these videos, and it's definitely becoming a reality. So make sure you subscribe. And then also, I want there to be 100 124s. Let's say 100 people have a 124, right? If 100 people have a 124, we're gonna know how good a 123 is. We're gonna know how good a 122 is, if that's what we get. Because then we have real stats. The thing is, Zelna's he's unique. I'm unique. Crystal is unique, right? It's hard to tell what these numbers are. Still, nobody's beating Crystal's time, and she was losing about a minute de facto due to how she was playing. Due to the circumstances how she's playing, combination of emulator keyboard, no spin speed, the emulator lag, and then the strats there's no strats, all these random strats, and then meta culture, and there's no practice hack. If you add all this up, yeah, she's losing about a minute just de facto, and then the fact that she only did 4 runs and her time is really not that good. She probably could have got a 1:23:50 or 1:23:45 under the same circumstances, even with the minute loss. So yeah, it's pretty fucking stupid how good she is. But no, you never realize that. It's hard to tell. And just think about this: still nobody's beating her time. That's how good her completely random. I mean, her time is not good for her skill level. For her skill level, her time is complete garbage. It was literally a random run. Look at any one of my random runs. If that was my PB, I would be ignorable, right? Because that's not good. That's not a good PB. That's the thing. It's the same thing for her, except she did even less runs than me, and she was even better. So the fact that people use and still nobody can beat that. Nobody can beat that. It's well, how good is Crystal really? No one knows. But if we create enough culture, we might actually find out. We might actually find out these numbers. We might actually find these answers. So that's the goal, guys. Anyway, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day.